What's up guys, welcome to Voicey here. This is your Yakuza-loving host, Captain Zach, and today's subreddits are r/TalesFromRetail and, wait for it, r/Today I Fudged Up. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell to never miss an episode. This story is called The Online Return. I used to work at a retail store that sells everything under the sun and since very recently had a very liberal return policy. One time, I took back a Fry Daddy deep fryer that was over 2 years old, very used, and no receipt or proof of purchase from our store. But that is a story for another day. Our tale begins on a Sunday, the busiest day of the week at our store and the day that everything that can go wrong will go wrong. I was the customer service manager at the time and got called to the front because a cashier needed help with a return. Here's the cast. There's me, a very tired customer service manager. Cashier 1. Manager.
Incompetent customer.
Hey OP, this customer has an online return. I can't find anything on his receipt besides his membership charge. He says, insert online retail giant here, told him to bring the return here. Incompetent customer is visibly upset and is angrily scrolling through his phone to find his email with his receipt.
I told her already. I already talked to the customer service and she has to do my return.
Okay, sir, I'm so sorry for the trouble. What are we returning today, and can I have your email? I can look up your online purchase with our database.
It's this dang comforter set. It's supposed to be gray, but it looks green. I can't believe
Online retail giant?
sent me the wrong color and you guys don't have it in store.
I get the customer's email, look him up in the system, and see that the only online purchase he has made with the company was for our membership program. No online orders from us at all. I explain this to the customer. He tells me that he bought the item from the online retail giant, but when he called them to do a return, they told him to come to our store. Now, I know a certain clothing chain has started taking online retail giant returns, but we are not that store. So I asked the customer if he meant he was supposed to go to that store. Nope, he was told to come here. I asked to see the item in question. He pulls it out of a garbage bag.
See, I told you it's green, not gray. Now, can you return it already so I can get a different one?
Sir, I'm sorry, but we have no record of you buying this from us. Let me see if we carry this item.
It's a comforter. Of course you carry it.
I'm getting to the end of my rope with this guy. As I try and find a tag on the comforter, he's yelling at me and Cashier 1 about how stupid we are, and that if we can't do a simple return, why are we even working here? At this point, manager shows up. There's a line at the front because the customer is refusing to move to the side so Cashier 1 can take the other customers, and is being quite loud. Hey OP, what's going on? This customer has a return from online retail giant that they were told to bring here? We don't fulfill for online retail giants. Sir, are you sure you weren't told to go to clothing store?
Why are you all so stupid? I was told to come here because this is your comforter and you have to do my return.
At this point, I have found the tag on the comforter. The brand is Online Retail Giant Basics. Pretty much the online retail giant store brand.
Vindication!
I'm sorry, sir, but the tag on the comforter shows that it is from Online Retail Giant, not us. I cannot do a return for an item from another retailer that we do not carry.
What do you mean you won't do my return? I want your manager.
Sir, I am the customer service manager, but manager is right here and is another manager. Sir, OP is correct. We can't do this return. You need to call Online Retail Giant about your return. I wish I could say there was a better ending, but that was it. Incompetent customer didn't say a word, just mumbled under his breath and stalked out of the store with his hefty bag of comforter. I did receive an email later that night for a customer complaint, but manager and I had already written out an incident report to alert the other stores in the area in case he tried the same thing somewhere else. So neither of us were written up for violating our store's never say no policy. And that, kids, is how I spent 30 minutes explaining to a man that I couldn't do a return on an item from another store. Oh my gosh, that dude is, I guess, incompetent. Amazon is really good when it comes to customer service, okay? Especially with their own stuff, Amazon Basics. You can literally say, oh, I never got my item, and they will believe you, especially if it's Amazon Basics stuff, because they just don't want to deal with your crap. So if you got the wrong color, they will literally send you a replacement. This story's called Customer Tried to Steal a Computer and TV in One of the Most Brazen Ways I've Ever Seen. This happened about 6 years ago at one of America's largest retail chains. I was fairly new to retail at this time, still young enough to believe in the good in people. I was monitoring our 4 self-checkout registers. A woman comes up with a computer and TV in the box. My initial reaction was me thinking why anybody would come over to self-checkout to scan those items, as we didn't have hand scanners at the time over there. You either had to hover the barcode over the scanning plate, or you needed somebody like me to type in the UPC and serial numbers for both items. So I go over and type in the numbers, and all seems well. A few moments later, I see some error message on the screen I'm standing behind that I couldn't interpret. I didn't know what it was saying. I had never seen this before, but it did mention the items were voided off. I thought it might have been a simple void she did, which I always need to approve on self-checkout, which annoyed me because I took the time to type in the UPC and serial for both items, and she suddenly doesn't want them. Turns out she did want the items. I go over to the woman and ask what's up, and she says she didn't know, but she used her credit card and it said the transaction went through. Not likely since no receipt came out. But she mentioned she didn't even need it. For a computer and TV? Are you dumb? She kept insisting the transaction went through. Not knowing what to do, I call a customer service manager over to sort through this problem. The customer tells the customer service manager the same thing, and the customer service manager says she needs to go into the cash office and check the transaction logs for that self-checkout to see if it really went through or not. Keep in mind, throughout all this, the customer is using a, now known but not at the time, technique of acting super busy by repeatedly saying, "I'm gonna be late to pick up my daughter," which, not knowing that kind of tactic, still made me think, who buys a TV and computer when they are that pressed for time? Manager reiterates she needs to check the transaction logs and she would be back in a few minutes. Customer is annoyed, but the manager walks off to do that. The entire time she's in the cash office, this woman is going on about how it went through, and after a minute, she asks me if she can call her credit card company to see if they say it went through. I didn't confirm. Their response would mean she could up and leave, but I said she is free to do so. So she takes out her phone, calls a number, and without even being asked any identifying information, gets a rep on the line in record time. She tells me the rep says it went through and asks me if I'd like to speak to them. Not wanting to get involved with her personal financial stuff, I declined to take the phone in one of the biggest regrets of my life, because I'd kill to see what they would say on the other line, as it clearly was not a credit card company. She hangs up and now keeps on going. "They said it was fine, can I go?" And I state, not until the manager gets back. So, after what seemed like an eternity of listening to this woman go on and on about needing to pick up her daughter, calling her credit card company, asking if she's good to go, etc., my manager comes out. She explains there was no transaction in the log of her purchase and asks to see her card. "It didn't go through because it's expired, see?" And points. The customer, realizing they were truly defeated, angrily mumbles something like, "Fine, I guess I won't be buying these things today," which of course was no problem for us, and storms off, leaving us baffled. Okay, that was a ridiculous attempt at thievery. Let me know in the comments below any ridiculous stories you might have where someone's trying to steal something in a way that was really stupid or something. I don't know. I'm curious. Let me know. Go crazy. This story's called, "Today I fudged up by painting myself green for a Kermit the Frog costume. I promise, we are a better looking couple than what it looks like." This happened October 11th for a Halloween festival. My girlfriend and I decided last minute to buy these tickets to the costume fest, and we decided on either it and Georgie, my choice, or Kermit and Miss Piggy, her choice. Of course, I had to succumb to her desire, and I said, "Screw it! Kermit time!" My birthday was the following day, so she decided to surprise me with an immaculate hotel to stay in. I was so happy. The hotel was amazing, and it was literally a couple of feet from the Halloween Fest entrance. So we didn't have to drive or walk too long of a distance, looking like your favorite childhood TV show's worst nightmare. Our plan was to assemble and create the costumes there and roll out. Our costumes were supposed to look like the red carpet style Miss Piggy and Kermit. So it involved a tuxedo and my girlfriend's senior prom dress. God bless her for still being able to fit in it. But it was not a pleasant experience trying to get it off of her after the event. The costume contest started at 6, and we didn't arrive until 8:30. Why? Well, it was a cocktail of tears, screaming, throwing crap, and contemplating whether or not we should even continue this whole dookie show. Her pig nose would not stay on her face, which was causing her to lose her crap and delay our arrival time. Every 5 minutes, I hear from the bathroom, "Oh my god, I'm gonna start crying, why won't it stay on?" Mind you, I'm on the other end of the room trying to create my Kermit feet, which were a pair of $5 Walmart shoes and some green felt. I freaking killed it with the Kermit feet. But that's the only part of my costume that was done. I needed help painting myself green. Finally, she was done with the dumpster fire that was her pig nose. She remedied that with super glue. I don't want to hear a sniffle or see a freaking tear when you try to rip that off your face. To which her response was, "Shut the frick up and sit down, we need to leave." So I sit down on the toilet seat in the bathroom and we start the transformation. We paint my hands and face with what we thought was Halloween paint. It was not. The paint we used was oil paint for fabrics, but we found it in the Halloween aisle of Walmart as well and said, screw it, it'll work. We're not into reading labels apparently. We didn't notice what it was until after the event, but we will get to that in a minute. So I'm now this green-looking monstrosity. We bought bald caps, but we ran out of time, so I slicked my hair back as best as I could. Did Kermit wear glasses? Nope. But I forgot my contacts, so I guess Kermit had to wear them. So now I'm this green, 5'10" buff figure in a tuxedo with my hair slicked back, which was slowly becoming screwed up throughout the night, and some Ray-Ban sunglasses. I can't really hate though, because Kermit has never looked so fly. I look at myself in the mirror, all done up in the costume, and my first words were, "I look like the freaking Hulk on prom night." My girlfriend made a convincing Miss Piggy, but her nose looked like she had some kind of genital warts around where she glued it, so it was caked with foundation. She was definitely the highlight of the duo. After all of this happened, we left and we went to the festival. It was a win on that part. Every single second people shouted, "Oh my god, Miss Piggy and Kermit!"
Kermit, you look so handsome.
"That's the most beautiful piggy I've ever seen." We were freaking crushing it. Then we were asked to join the costume contest. We didn't ask, we were offered a spot in it. We entered, of course. I'm feeling like some nicotine, but I didn't have my cigarettes on me. So I asked the closest security officer where the nearest convenience store was. He told me, so I started the journey. I saw one of those pay-and-ride electric scooters on the corner, so you bet your butt Kermit was going on a joyride to get his smokes. Miss Piggy had to sit that one out, considering her prom dress and high heels would cause an absolutely horrific scene if she were to get that crap caught in the wheels. Nothing like watching a green dude in a tux speed down the street on an electric scooter with a Marlboro menthol in his mouth. A light bulb went off. Mrs. Piggy smoked, I think, so we now have a bonus prop for the costume. Heck yes! We enter the costume contest, we wait in line to go on stage, and as soon as we do, we get the most applause out of the entire crowd. The grand prize was $100 and VIP access, and we won the VIP access, but not the $100. Some girl had an immaculate Twin Peaks costume that topped everyone else's. Props to her. VIP access granted us free alcohol and free White Castle as well. So we were the most drunk Muppets you've ever seen. We head back to the hotel and we start getting ready to go out to bars again. I take a shower, but I notice my hands are still green. I called my girlfriend in the bathroom. "Am I still green?" She just starts laughing. I look in the mirror and I'm still green. I'm scrubbing my face so hard in the shower I'm starting to make my skin raw. But I'm not getting any less green. I was stained green for 3 whole days. We said screw it and went to bars while I was still green. And yeah, I looked like an idiot, but it was drag night at the bar, and I didn't want to miss that crap at all. Sucks to have to go back to work looking like a fool. I was given crap for the 3 days I was still green, and it honestly hurts. Aw, this is a very well written, very good story. I really dig it. He seems to have a pretty good relationship with his girlfriend, which is always admirable and good to hear about. And in stories like these, I don't know, this is a fun story. This story's called, "Today I Forked Up by Making My Girlfriend Have a Breakdown in a Restaurant." So in traditional "Today I Fudged Up" spirit, this actually happened 3 days ago, but I'm just getting around to writing it. So for a little bit of backstory, my girlfriend's grandparents on her mom's side were always very laid back and lenient, while her grandparents on her dad's side are very strict and polite about everything. No hats on the table, no elbows on the table, etc. So, 4 days ago, my girlfriend's lovely grandmother on her mother's side passed away fairly unexpectedly, and everyone has been very upset about the whole ordeal. I decided that I would take her out for breakfast the next morning, after she had said her goodbyes and spent the night telling stories about her grandmother with her family. So, the next morning comes around. We're at a cute little breakfast cafe, and my girlfriend is feeling a little bit better. She comes to terms with what has happened, but overall is still generally sad. We order our food and the waitress brings us our coffee. I make it the way I like and leave the spoon there in the mug. So my girlfriend looks at me and says, "Take your spoon out of your mug. Nan would slap you in the side of the head if you ever left a spoon in the mug at her house." And me, being the dumb booty I am, assumed that she was talking about her other grandmother. The one from her dad's side of the family that has to have everything perfect and proper and everyone needs to be polite in her presence, or else. The one that didn't die less than 24 hours ago. So, being the comedy genius that I am, look her right in the face and say, "Yeah, well, Nan isn't here, so the spoon can stay in the mug." The second the last syllables passed my lips, I watched her face turn red. I start to water, and she buried her head into her scarf and started to bawl her eyes out. She was very upset for a while, and I profusely apologized and held her as she cried. She legitimately thought I was trying to make fun of her dead grandmother until I had time to explain where my train of thought was that made me think she was talking about her other grandmother. Oh no! Oh no! Okay, that's happened to everyone at least once. I mean, not that exact scenario, but or something similar. But aw, poor kid. Poor kid. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell to never miss an episode.